the beauty of LinkedIn is you can have a very targeted list, and then you can get a very high response rate and a positive response rate.
Some of our other campaigns have probably had higher connection rates, but this one definitely was the most.
What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
This is related to LinkedIn as a platform, I suppose, being very sensitive. So one of the things that I love about SalesRobot is that.
Hey everyone, and welcome to SalesRobot Customer of the Week, a new show where we interview the best SalesRobot customers and go deep into their process. We take hot tips around messaging, targeting, and personalization so that you can take away some tips to implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Today, we have Kelly from BFMFitting.com. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So let's get right into it. What does your business do and how do you make money?
Sure. Our name is BFM Fitting, and we are based here in New Zealand. Surprisingly, for a lot of people, we are fully manufactured here in New Zealand, and our customers are all over the world. We manufacture these flexible connectors. I'm not sure if you can see that. This is just one of the products in our range, but probably the most popular one. Our flexible connectors are used in powder processing plants to reduce dust leakage and downtime and improve the efficacy of other equipment by ensuring all of the product is kept inside the process.
Awesome. That sounds great. Who knew New Zealand is manufacturing all of this and spreading all over the world. All right. So with that, let's get into your campaign a little bit. What the campaign that got you here? Do you remember what that campaign was about?
Yes. So we started using SalesRobot just probably in Q4 last year, and we routinely run lead generation campaigns all across the world, and usually we focus on one country. At this time, that country was Finland. It's a country where we haven't done a lot of activity yet. And so this was a very new market for us. And we used SalesRobot for the LinkedIn arm of the campaign and just generating leads. For us, our ultimate goal was to ensure we could increase or get as many acceptances to plant visits or factory visits as possible so that we can send a salesperson there to show the range and meet with their engineers to show how this would improve their performance.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit more about that process. Where does that list come from? How do you decide who to target on LinkedIn?
Sure. So we use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and that's really the foundation for our audience capturing and collating our audience. We, of course, consulted our distributor in Finland. As I mentioned, it was a new market for us, and it's a market with which I was not completely familiar. So we wanted to ensure that we had good references and guidance from a local who's actually there and has expertise in not only BFM products, but also their own market, of course. Not only about how the market operates in terms of opportunities for this product, but the consumer and how they prefer their interactions to be, and sort of those kind of things. But back to your original question about the collating of the audience. We got sort of a number of companies that the distributor would like to target, and also added in a few other traits of our own, a few other criteria of our own, and placed that into LinkedIn Sales Navigator to generate a list of a couple hundred that we would like to target.
That makes sense. So let's talk a little bit more about your messaging. Like, how did you decide to structure the sequence, and what kind of messages do you write?
Yeah, sure. We've been working on our messaging process and structure for probably a few years now. We've been iterating a lot, and it really does vary by the market and the persona that we're targeting. It, of course, isn't one size fits all. In this case, also, we decided to use Finnish, although lots of Finnish people do speak English. We used Finnish as the language to ensure that people felt most comfortable there. And thankfully, with Finnish, similar to English, we were able to maintain a certain level of friendliness and personalization, which is not always possible in all of our languages due to maybe additional formalities needed. We were able to pretty much comfortably almost translate our usual English messaging into Finnish and maintain a lot of those personalizations. Another part of the messaging that is very important to us is, of course, the cadence of the messaging and how many follow-up messages do we send? How close together are those? Certain markets, I've been told, it's better to space them out much further as they can easily feel that they're being bombarded. But yeah, Finland seemed not too different from some of the other English-speaking models we've run. So thankfully, it was not too difficult in that regard. And I think the metrics showed that that it resonated, the messaging, and perhaps we set the right tone for a lot of the people that we contacted, and we made it very actionable. Ultimately, we wanted to make sure that in the messaging, it was communicated that what they're agreeing to is just something very small, a small visit that shouldn't place too big a burden on them, and that they will be able to, that it's a good opportunity for them to actually assess these products. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So do you remember some conversion rates on this? If you reached out to 200 people, how many ended up accepting, how many ended up replying, and then finally some real business numbers, like what number of sales visits you were able to do?
Sure. We contacted over 400 people in the end. Connection rate was a little over 30%. And then the response rate was 43%.
That's very high. That's one of the good things about LinkedIn, right? Because they can see that you're a real person. They can see that you've got a profile. It's much better than cold email. Like, you'd be hard pressed to get a 5% response rate on cold emails. LinkedIn clearly works.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because, some of our other campaigns have probably had higher connection rates, but this one definitely was the most successful in terms of the reply rate and the positive reply rate.
Wow.
In terms of how many plant visits we were able to achieve, they're still actually in process due to the schedule of a lot of these engineers who are very busy and
Right.
kind of this, I guess, largeness or the spaced out nature of Finland. There is still meetings that have to be scheduled. However, I think the last time I checked, we've been in conversation with over 30 of these leads, and I think scheduled plant visits for at least 15.
That's amazing. That's amazing, right? Like the other way to get these many leads would have been to go to a conference and then, try to talk to people and just, they may or may not be the right person. But the beauty of LinkedIn is you can have a very targeted list, and then you can get a very high response rate and a positive response rate that's that high. So yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how well this actually works.
It's been really, really good. And I think, one of the things that I love about SalesRobot is that it's because we have so many lead generation campaigns on the go, it pulls out a lot of insights that are very useful. We are a little bit time poor in our team, and so it gives us really good glance at the numbers from the get-go. And so it's really good for us when we need to diagnose if there's a problem in our campaign. Maybe our targeting was a little off in the beginning and we need to iterate. It does offer a great flexibility in that too. But the dashboards are set up very well to be very user-friendly and to show if there are any alarms going off in terms of our messaging or targeting or anything we might have could have done better.
Yeah, just for our listeners, I did ask Kelly to give us that review right there. She gave it on her own. So this is an actual review. All right. So with that, I'll go into my next question. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach? This could be before SalesRobot or after.
Something that we're looking to improve, and this is related to LinkedIn as a platform, I suppose, being very sensitive, and therefore the limited number of invitations that we can kind of send out per day due to, the nature of using an automation tool and also LinkedIn's own numbers for maximum requests you can send. One thing that we're looking to do better in future campaigns, for this Finland one, it was not too much of an issue as we allowed really adequate time for the campaign duration. However, for shorter campaigns where we still have large numbers of leads to work through, probably not targeting too many large numbers of people of the same persona at the same company, so that there's a limited number of people it'll reach, and we need to kind of spread our eggs a little more. And I think that if we're allowed infinite numbers per day, that wouldn't be an issue. But since that's not the reality, we could probably be more strategic about our lists and how we structure our campaigns to be a little more evenly spread. so that, because if it's unlikely to get into one plant from one person, it's unlikely to be the case for there. But then maybe we've sent out so many that day to that particular plant, and then that's kind of maybe redundant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. This is something that we've seen with some other customers as well. So what they do is they have more of a, so this one German customer that does this very well. So they have a like a hierarchy based approach. So they at one particular job title, they'll only target three people per company, not more. Just three. So they
Yeah.
export everything out of SalesNav, put it in a nice little Excel file, and then make sure that from one company they don't have three, right, at a particular level. And then they go one level lower after that campaign is done, and they say, okay, the VP level didn't work, so maybe we'll try at the director level or maybe at a manager level. And then they have different messaging at that level, and they'll try a lot more from other accounts. So you can actually get really fancy with this, right, over time. And I've seen some customers do that, and it works really well, but there's a lot of work you have to do to get it right.
Yeah, I mean, we have our marketing coordinator, Martin. He's someone, a marketing coordinator in our team, and he looks after a lot of our lead gen campaigns. And that was a point that he raised. And yeah, it's something we're looking to action in our future campaigns. As I mentioned, we've only been using SalesRobot since Q4 last year, so it's still a learning process for us. And as LinkedIn also evolves, yeah, it's something where every single day there could be kind of a new challenge, a new opportunity for us. But yeah, that would probably be the biggest learning for that particular campaign, and probably across all the campaigns. But yeah, there are other ones that we've seen where we've, for example, as I mentioned for Finnish, it was very simple in a way because it's very similar to English in terms of the non-hierarchical and nature of how people communicate, or less hierarchical. But for some other markets, we're seeing challenges around that. And so we aren't allowed to actually, it's not feasible to personalize it so much.
Well,
And so, yeah, we're probably thinking of reverting back to English for some of those markets so that it doesn't seem so cold and like yeah. And a lot of them actually do speak English in these markets. So yeah, trying to find a way to be a little more authentic is another thing that we're working on.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I would say is something you could try within SalesRobot is we've got a very nice A/B testing feature as well. So within the same campaign, you could have like to the same set of leads, you will have version 1 in English, version 2 in, let's say, German, right? And then you just see what worked, right, within the same campaign. So half the leads will get the English variation, half the leads will get the German variation. And at the end of it, you'll have a very clear answer. Okay, English version produced, XYZ results, and German produced ABC. So there's something that might be worth, just checking out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So those are all the questions I had, Kelly. Thank you so much for doing this. I am really excited to see you guys, experiment further with SalesRobot and get some good results. And I wish you all the best for all your future campaigns.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we're really enjoying using SalesRobot, and it's been a huge help to our lead gen campaigns, but we're looking forward to getting even better results in our future campaigns too.
Absolutely, Kelly. Thank you so much for making the time.
Great. Thanks for your time. Bye.
Thank you.